Who is universally loved, but actually an asshole? Oprah. She spent decades getting paid by every quack with a pseudoscientific health product to appear as guests on her show. It's no wonder her apprentices are a dubious psychiatrist and the quack-ass weirdo doctor who continued her business of using the trust of gullible Americans to sell snake oil. This question needs an explain your answer added to the end. Before it became public knowledge, I always had to tell people what an asshole Bill Cosby was 20+ years ago. My cat. Until recently. Ellen. I cannot speak for the rest of society, but I certainly never liked her. Ellen's fall from grace has been well-deserved and overdue. Edit. Just to clarify, she's not a comic book villain like Bezos or Dick Cheney, she's just an immature narcissist with zero tact or grasp on reality. There are plenty of good clips, compilations on YouTube that shows her wildly out-of-touch behavior. My personal least favorite is her singing to a sleeping baby in a drugstore through a megaphone as the horrified mother is in complete disbelief. Jerry from Tom and Jerry. I've got my suspicions about Steve Harvey. The audacity to be married like 4 times, then write a book about marriage. Fuck you know about marriage, Steve? What does Steve Harvey not know about marriage? We asked 100 of his ex-wives. Top 7 answers are on the board. What not to do, I guess. He's a misogynist, and worse, an idiot. He's also a racist, pretty much insisted that Asian males are universally undesirable with zero backlash, and asserted that atheists and agnostics must lack a moral compass. If I saw Steve Harvey drowning, I wouldn't think twice about helping him. Wilson. The way he just floated away at the end like their friendship meant nothing. What a dick. Maya Angelou was a raging bitch. The gal in the office next to mine had to coordinate her visit to our university. She said in her 30-year career of coordinating VIP celebrity speakers, Maya Angelou was the only one though treated her like absolute shit. Maya Angelou did a lecture at my college and a student asked a question that I thought was completely reasonable. Something along the lines of, "Do you ever get discouraged during the writing process and how do you keep going?" And she started berating him for asking such a stupid question and was like, "Look at my body of work. Where would you get the idea that I'm ever discouraged?" It was really weird. Dr. Phil. He takes advantage of mentally ill people for money. Edit. He isn't universally loved, but he is very successful and is good at hiding his dark side. Jimmy Savile. Was loved. Died. Found out he was a child predator. Steve Jobs. People worship him, and I understand why to some extent. He revolutionized technology, but he was very emotionally abusive to his daughter. She released a memoir IIRC, very disturbing stuff. He was a great a dick to his daughter's mother. He left both of them on welfare and food stamps. He was a great a dick to everyone. Steve Jobs was huffing his own farts until the day he died. That was his cancer treatment of choice. Without Woz he would have been nothing. Jobs didn't give enough credit to other people. And to this day Woz just goes about his life in his Hawaiian shirts and seems to always have a smile on his face. Sure, he didn't get Jobs billions, but he certainly gained wealth that Steve never did. Steve Wozniak on the other hand is a gem of a person. I spent a few hours with him a couple years ago and he was so kind and friendly. Michael Jordan. In the mid-90s, a local magazine poll voted him the meanest man in Chicago. Everyone I knew in the Chicago area had a Jordan story from the 1990s. It was almost a fucking opener joke. Did Jordan screw your parents' business or act like an ass towards y'all? How many times? Pippen came up often but not nearly to the same extent. I had a dealer at a casino in Vegas tell me they hate when MJ shows up there. Gambles with hundreds of thousands and doesn't tip a single person on the floor. I always loved this story about Gretzky. Michael Jordan once gave a waitress a $5 chip for bringing him a drink. Wayne Gretzky stopped the waitress, took the $5 chip and gave her one of the many $100 chips on Jordan's side of the table saying, "That's how we tip in Las Vegas, Michael." Ben Affleck is loved by cleaning ladies. He usually tips like $200 to clean his hotel when he's staying there. Most celebrities only tip at the tables to show off spectacle. Women changing towels and emptying waste bin and arranging bedsheets usually don't get that high roller generous tip. Ben Affleck tipped me $100 for making him a $5 latte. He seemed pretty depressed, but generous guy. I think he just has resting sad face. One of the greatest marketing jobs ever in history was making Michael Jordan likable. Edit. Like many people mentioned, not having social media helped him a lot. If LeBron James tipped $7 on a $700 restaurant bill, it would all over social media. If Steph Curry was caught on Instagram betting thousands at a Las Vegas casino with someone not his wife, he'd be so vilified. I'm surprised that this didn't get more votes. Everyone knew MJ was an a-hole, his carbon copy Kobe too. But they were a-holes for a reason, I guess. Rachel Ray. Loved her show, until I went to see her live. In between takes she was a very not nice person. John Lennon. He told his son Julian I, "Hate the way you fucking laugh." Yeah. Written by Paul, who tried to be a bit fatherly to him, seeing as how John couldn't be bothered. Paul seems like an honesty nice dude that somehow stayed innocent and naive despite his fame. He said that he and his wife Linda only ever spent 8 nights apart their entire relationship. After she died and he remarried, he was so trusting he didn't make her sign a prenup. She turned out to be a gold digger. I watched his Netflix special and he talked about what a good family life he had growing up, and he thought everyone had that kind of home life until he met John. John grew up in an abusive home. That explains a bit why Paul was so much better to Julian than his own father. Doesn't excuse John's behavior, but it makes it more understandable. I think literally everyone knows that Lennon was an abuser. Ringo on the other hand tends to slip under the radar. SpongeBob. Imagine living near him. Old reference, but Gary Berghoff aka Radar from Moss H. Apparently he was notoriously hard to work with and generally an asshole to the movie and show cast and crew, but his character was so beloved that viewers never thought he was like that. On the flip side, poor Larry Leanville, Major Frank Burns, was known to be an extremely nice guy, but got sneered at and generally treated like crap by the public due to his character in the show. Just goes to show you should separate the art from the artist. Steve Harvey. For those who want to know, watch his interviews on women and atheists. He's cheated on his wives, physically abusive, acts like religion is the only thing that between him and killing and raping people. Pretty much all your favorite rock stars from the 70s and 80s had underage girlfriends. Some even adopted them, from as young as 14, and became their legal guardians so they could live with and have sex with them and essentially keep them trapped at home to not get caught. Steven Tyler and Jimmy Page stick out. But Bowie and Prince get honorable mentions. I'm sure that's just a start. Edit. My bad. The Bowie claim has yet to be corroborated. Edit 2. Not just the 70s and 80s, rock stars for all recorded history. Martha Stewart. I witnessed her call her assistant and I quote, a worthless piece of shit. No one should be called that for accidentally dropping her handbag. Edit. I also offered Martha a bottle of Fiji water and she said she only drinks Voss. Was waiting for this. I work in the aviation industry and have for 25 years now. Back when I was still fairly new, I was working line service for an FBO, fixed base operator, the folks who provide handling services for private corporate aircraft. One day a plane comes in after dropping a passenger off in Maine. The crew needed someone to clean the airplane, and the job fell to me. The plane was trashed. Food ground into the carpeting, garbage all over the place, pet hair everywhere. Took me a few hours to scrub the inside of that plane. The crew thanked me, and gave me a $100 tip after. Then the captain said to me, "You'll never guess who made that mess." Martha Stewart. I was in shock. He said she was the biggest bitch they had ever flown, and both the captain and first officer said they would refuse to fly her in the future. I am now an airline pilot, but I have several friends who went into the corporate, private, fractional side of aviation. Martha Stewart has been kicked out of every fractional jet ownership program there is: Raytheon Travel Air, Flight Options, NetJets, Flexjet, and several others, all because of her abusive and downright nasty treatment of staff. Jackie Chan I wouldn't say is universally loved, but definitely way too popular in the West. It's pretty common knowledge here in Hong Kong. Abusive husband and father, effectively disowned an illegitimate daughter, lots of whoring and alcohol abuse, sold out Hong Kong during political unrest in favor of China, yet was banned from the Chinese Communist Party due to moral failings. Edit. Typo. Nicki Minaj. She's a rape apologist, so yeah, asshole. Probably 90% of celebrities. Tim Allen lived near me for a while. Always a pompous ass. However, the gentleman who plays Gus Fring on Breaking Bad is a real good guy. Remembered my name and says hi to me when we run into each other at Whole Foods. He also tipped the cashier at WF $100 just because. Ironic. He remembered your name, but to you he is the gentleman who played Gus Fring. Giancarlo Esposito. Great actor. I'm glad Giancarlo Esposito is a good guy. He seems like such a naturally charming and guy despite always playing a villain role in whatever he's in. That scenes where he's being nice just feel so much more authentic sometimes. Homelander edit. Tie for the awards. You guys are the real heroes. Gandhi. I learned that from Civilization 6. If you think Gandhi is universally loved, you are mistaken. There are people who literally celebrate his assassin as a hero. He is a very complex and divisive figure, especially in India. Drake. Everyone conveniently forgot that he's a predator who tried to groom Millie Bobby Brown, but instead made him into some wholesome meme. Fuck Drake. Not sure if they are universally loved, but I used to work in restaurants for the House of Mouse, and both Howie Mandel and Bobby McFerrin were total jerks. Acted like they were completely above everyone else, and both of them let their bratty kids run screaming around the restaurant. Always smart when people carrying hot trays of food are everywhere. I had a lot of positive celebrity interactions, but those two were awful. Can't stand to listen to Don't Worry, Be Happy since. Eric Clapton. What a douchebag he turned out to be. He's an oddity. His racist, coked-out rant in the 70s on stage sparked the Rock Against Racism movement. It's bizarre considering he idolizes and owes much of his success to American black blues artists. James Franco. Dude gets caught trying to sleep with underage girls regularly. Like he isn't even good at hiding it, yet he gets a pass every time. Steve Jobs. It's pretty well known that he was a giant asshole, but he's still pretty romanticized in the tech sphere. David Dobrik is probably one of the most tragic ones, not only cause he's a piece of shit, but because even if he was a great person, it's depressing that people even care about that content and actually watch that. Plus, indeed, he's a piece of shit abusive sociopath. From what my fiancé told me is that Beyoncé is extremely entitled and rude to people. He worked in a restaurant where many celebrities would go to and he loved most of them but absolutely hated Beyoncé and Jay-Z. Remember when she had an entire hospital wing closed so she could give birth? It wasn't an entire wing of a hospital, but it was an entire section of the maternity ward. In some ways that's worse how many pregnant women were turned away. Additionally, her hired goons, bodyguards, would stop people from entering the entire maternity ward and tell them they couldn't come in, even if they had every right to be there. Jennifer Lopez. I'll back that one up with stories from former coworkers. She was well known to the techs. That did the telecom stuff in her Miami condo building. She was one of those no eye contact, no talking directly to bitches. I love that one clip of her walking in some hood and acting shocked when no one knows who she is. JL. I grew up here. I grew up in this house. Guy. Who? You did? JL. Yeah, I did. Guy. Who are you? JL. Jennifer Lopez. Guy. Who? JL. Jennifer Lopez. Guy. Okay. Gordon Ramsay is universally loved for being an A*hole. I'm pretty sure the twist here is he's actually a chill person. That's just his TV persona, but I could be wrong. ETA, this is blowing up a bit and I've been getting a lot of notifications. I'd like to state officially that I do not watch his shows nor do I have a strong opinion of him. I was just relaying what I'd heard. I hope you all have a great day. You can watch the UK version of Kitchen Nightmares. All the yelling and swearing is for US TV. In the UK version he is usually not mad, just very disappointed. See also: any show he does with child cooks. He is actually very sweet and patient with them. Most of his anger stem from people who think, "I'm the best, I'm an amazing chef. How dare he talk to me like that," and then they actually suck. He is the loophole. Mother Teresa. I remember when she went to Ireland and told Irish women who were being physically abused by their husbands that it would be a sin to get a divorce. Make no mistake, there are at least a few now dead Catholic women who took that to heart. India Bollywood actor Salman Khan d*K-head to almost all his fans. He ran a campaign called, Being Human, that was just presenting him as a good person who cares about poor and needy. Actually, it was just a publicity stunt for his few criminal cases like killing innocent people while drunk driving and killing endangered animals. His fans see him as a role model, but the campaign was just to get him a clean chit from those criminal cases. After all the criminal charges were taken away from him, there is no being human is happening. Adding to that, he ruined a lot of upcoming actors, singers and other performers' professional life in Bollywood because he didn't like them, or according to him they insulted him one and another way. His personal life is also shady. All of his girlfriends ended up relationship because of his personality, possessiveness and sadistic behavior. He is promoting nepotism in the film industry, and as I discussed before, he ruined lot of people's lives. Me. Sorry to let everyone down.